Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Las Vegas and Affiliate Summit, and welcome to SEO for beginning bloggers and affiliates. I would assume everyone in the room is an affiliate market or aspires to be one, but how many people, just a quick show of hands, use a blog in their marketing for their various affiliate programs? So roughly maybe about half of you. Okay.
Great.
For those of you who don't, maybe you should consider it, okay? It is a very good tool for SEO. Now, I proposed this panel because a couple of years ago I was sitting out there and I was new to the industry and I just wanted some basic information about how to go about using my blog to drive more traffic. My name's Rob Merlino. The Hot Dog Man at 1964 on Twitter. My co-panelists are Stephanie Lichtenstein at MicroSteph on Twitter, and John Carcutt at John Carcutt on Twitter. And we're going to talk to you about the importance of good content for SEO and then using social media to help enhance that. And then John's going to talk about some of the back-end tools that you can use for WordPress to kind of just make things go a little smoother and help your stuff appear better in the search engines, because ultimately the most important thing that any one of us can do is get above the fold for whatever terms that we're looking for to sell more of our products or offers or whatever it is that we're offering. So I'm just going to go over quickly kind of where we were when I got started, the evolution of content for SEO, where we are now, and what you can do to use content and social media and these other tools to improve your SEO. And everyone knows what SEO is, correct? Search engine optimization, just to be sure. That's what we're talking about when we talk about that. Now, back in 2007, I started a free blog on Blogger, because if it was free, it was for me. It was a good way to get started. It was a good way to get going into blogging, and you know, it worked sort of for a little while. I didn't really know much about what I was doing, so this is probably the best advice I heeded. I saw a lot of information, had it coming at me, and the best advice I heeded was write good quality content, and the SEO will take care of itself. And there are people who have been doing search engine optimization since the 90s who prescribe to that. And that is a big part of the puzzle, so you really do need to pay attention to that. But there are other things which we will discuss that help you go on with that. Now, back in 2007, people who wanted to get link juice traffic for their site needed links. Has anyone seen a diagram like this before? This is a link wheel. Whole entire networks were built out just to give link juice, if you will, to individual websites. You could pay someone to do that and point all of these links to your site so you'd rank better, or you could build it out yourself, because links are the currency of the internet. Looks kind of complicated, it was expensive, and if you did it yourself, it was very time consuming. Content in this day and age, in that day and age, was just sort of a necessary thing. Yeah, you had to have some words on the page, but if people got there, they'd click through to your ads, they'd click through on your banners, they'd click through on your links. That was the theory. 2011 came along, Panda and Penguin. These are Google updates that sort of nuked that previous philosophy and put more focus onto the content. It was a good thing for people like me who were focused on content to begin with and not worried about all that other stuff. It was a bad thing for people who relied on these link networks and other various nefarious methods. Now, using a good quality content strategy for your SEO, if you have a blog, you probably ought to be using WordPress. That's the most popular platform. It's good, it's easy to operate. You can have a blog for your business, or you can have a blog as a business. And by that I mean, Can someone just give me an example of a business that they're in? Someone shout it out.
Driver's ed.
What was that?
Driver's ed.
Driver's ed. Okay. Do you, you must have a website where people come and sign up for your driver's ed classes, things like that?
Right.
Do you have a blog attached to that?
Yeah, we do.
Okay. Good thing. Okay. Now that's an example of someone who has an existing business and you can use a blog to help you rank for driver's ed. Now, you can also use a blog as a business. If you want to build a site just around a certain product or keyword, you can use it independently of that. But you should have one, and the reason is search engines like them. Now, today, it's the same story after Penguin and Panda as it was back when I first started, only more so. Content really is king. That's what people are looking for. It doesn't do anybody any good to click through to a page that's loaded with banners and ads, and that's why Google did those updates. So they're focused more on the content. And to use our driver's ed example here, not to pick on you, sir, but you spoke up. What you want to do on your blog is you want to write about what you know about. You know, you may have issues surrounding driver's ed. I have 2 kids in driver's ed now, so that's, you know, kind of speaking from a little user knowledge there. If I'm going to this driver's ed site and I want information about teen driving tips, tips to make teens more, you know, aware out on the road. I mean, if you have a teen driver, you know, I had a full head of hair until my kids started driving. So you would want to have a lot of articles about that on your blog, which is attached to your site. And what's going to happen is Google will pick up on that, and it's going to drive more traffic to your site. I would imagine you're probably not the only driver's ed offerer of services in your area. If you are, then maybe you don't need to be in this room. But I'm sure there's competition. There's competition for everyone. And when somebody wants information, first thing they do, they go to Google and they type out driver's ed. Now, in this gentleman's instance, he knows about what he's doing. So he could speak to it probably fairly well. If you don't, there are people you can hire. There's services right out in the meat market. You can hire someone who, if they don't know what they're talking about, they'll find out and they know how to spin that together for you. If you don't have time, now you may be busy running your business, you don't have time to blog, hire someone who does, okay? It's not that expensive. And hire someone to churn out some content for you. You can then proofread it, but the heavy lifting is done by the person typing the stuff on the page. Now, tips for writing for SEO. You're probably dealing in a driver's ed situation with a fairly localized market, so it's going to be easier to rank unless it's a national company. But if you want to be reaching sort of the broad thing, if you're selling a product that has a broad base, you want to use your Google keyword tool. Does everyone know what the Google keyword tool is? Okay, if you don't, Google keyword tool, and you'll find it. And you'll be able to identify specific keywords and keyword phrases using that tool for your industry or offer. All right? And if you're using WordPress, and this is a method that I use for a lot of my sites, is if I have a specific keyword, and again, I'll use our driver's ed gentleman again. The specific keyword might be you know, spring semester driver's ed classes for Main Street, USA town, okay? If it's a product, it might be a brand that you're selling, okay? So I'll use a Shark Tank example. There's a lip balm called Kiss Sticks that appeared last Friday, okay? The brand is Kiss Sticks. That is a page in WordPress. The posts point to the page. The posts are about general terms, okay? For our driver's ed thing, it could be anything, as long as any time that post is talking about the spring semester classes for this community, you link back to that page from the post. Is everyone with me? Okay. In the Kiss Sticks example, and this is a real example that I used, Kiss Sticks is the page. There's a page on the site all about this product, Kiss Sticks, and then there are posts that support that page that have keywords, you know, if you search for lip balm, or lip balm Shark Tank, or, you know, lip balm that mixes, all these different things. And again, I've drilled those down from the keyword tools. But you have the post support the page. All right? Now, whoops, I probably shouldn't have put him up just yet. That's a content strategy within the framework of your blog. All right, now back when we saw that other image of the link wheel, that has changed. And the way that has changed is a lot of that juice comes from not an artificial creation of a bunch of sites just randomly or very specifically pointing to your site for your keywords. It's now become more socially relevant. And by socially relevant is the way people share things are with social media now. Back in 2007 when I got started, social media was really still in its infancy, and it didn't have the impact that it has today and the broad reach. I mean, what are we, over 1 billion users on Facebook now?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, over 1 billion. It might have been a few million back in 2007, but it wasn't 1 billion. 1 billion's a big number. So that's the way people are sharing content now. You have to be relevant. You have to have something intelligent to say about your offer or your business. If you don't, no one's going to want to share it. And that's why social media has come in and made much more of an impact on your SEO, on your search terms. And as I say, it brings a little more heat to the situation. That's why I put Heat Miser up there. When I was creating this, it was before Christmas, and that's my favorite show. So at this point, I want to turn it over to Stephanie Lichtenstein, and she's going to talk about how social media is impacting SEO and search. So Stephanie.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I'm very excited to talk about social media. And yes, it is starting to affect SEO. Now, how many of you in here are using social media personally? Raise your hand. Okay. And how many of you are using it for your business? Raise your hand. Fantastic. That's more than I thought. Okay, great. Social media has actually overtaken certain topics that I'm not going to say, but it's actually now the #1 activity on the web overall. Now, people used to spend their time doing some other things that I can't talk about, but in Vegas you might get the idea. Nowadays they spend a lot more time on social media. Now, someone may or may not know about your business or go to your website every day, but they are going to spend about 23 minutes on Facebook a day. So it's a great platform and a great way to reach your audience, and it does affect SEO. Now, nowadays a lot of people are searching on the go. How many of you search a lot on your mobile or on an iPad? Raise your hand. Okay, nowadays 25% of search results are all coming from mobile on Google. So it's something else to keep in mind. I do want to mention to have a mobile-friendly site is a useful thing. Here's an example up on my screen. I was getting hungry and I wanted a little Jimmy John's because they have really fast delivery. So I was looking it up. Unfortunately, they don't deliver to Miami Beach, but they were in Coral Gables. But I could actually see the reviews on here and quickly call them or go to their website. Now, this is how search is kind of changing. It's turning into not only what you say about your business, but what other people say about their businesses. If you had never been to Jimmy John's, you can go in and you can read reviews. And nowadays, it's also tying to Facebook or to other social media platforms where someone can actually go in and write a recommendation for your business. And then I can see if any of my friends have actually gone to your website or recommended what it is that you're selling, and that could influence my purchasing decision. According to Nielsen, 90% of people trust their peer recommendations. So they're going to look at what their friends and their family are saying and doing, and that's going to influence their purchasing decisions, whereas only 14% of people trust advertisements. So, I mean, that's a very high percentage, so you want to make sure that you're integrating this into what you're doing for your business. Now, here's an easy example that I did on Google. I actually searched Affiliate Summit. If you notice on the top right-hand side, this is not any sort of paid advertisements, which normally, if you're doing PPC, you would pay a lot of money to have results coming up right at the top. The first thing that comes up besides the website on the right-hand side is actually Google+. I call Google Plus a necessary evil. I personally don't love it, but Google is actually, really pushing it in their results, so you need to be there. It's very easy to be there. Social media doesn't take a lot of time. You just have to put a plan together. If you use a tool such as Hootsuite, which I'll talk about a little bit more, you can actually schedule this ahead of time and have something going automatically to your business. Now, if you look, it also pulls up the latest post on Google+. I was searching in December, and it had a post December 10th that was actually shared right there. If you look right after their website, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. This is all because they're frequently updating their social media pages. If I was thinking about attending Affiliate Summit, this would be an indicator of why I should, and I would see not only what they were talking about, but what other people are saying about them. I also see a result at the very top from Missy Ward, who's one of the co-founders of Affiliate Summit, and she's a friend of mine. So it's actually showing me my friends with their pictures, and that's influencing the content that I'm actually going to read about Affiliate Summit. Again, another Facebook post. All of this was really relevant because they were talking about a poker tournament that happened last night, and that's what they were updating their page about. I even searched Bing on Google, and when I was logged in, it actually pulls up to have me automatically share something about this website with my friends. I can also email it to people. So it's, if you notice, there's a trend going on here. It's about sharing things more. It's about showing what other people are saying about these sites. When I look at even Bing, Bing really pulls in Facebook. So if we're looking at Google, they're obviously promoting Google+, but if we're looking at Bing, they're actually tying in Facebook. So when you're logged in, you can actually see social results. I have my little iPad mini over here, but I wasn't sure if I was going to buy it. I didn't know if I would really want it or not. I did because it fits in my bag and it's easy for me. It's not for everyone, but when I started searching, I searched iPad mini. I actually see my friends that either liked their page or maybe posted something about them. James Martell, who's in the back, he comes up on here. So I could easily ping James and say, James, have you purchased the iPad mini? And if you look on the top next to social results, it said I could post to Facebook. So now, instead of actually searching further in Bing, it's going to take me to go search in Facebook and get my friends' feedback on these products. Another thing, besides the rewards and connecting with Facebook, is it also shows me below that other people I'm connected with that have written relevant articles that are related to that topic. So this girl, Joanna Stern, who I'm connected to through friends, writes for ABC News. Now, I personally don't know her. I'm kind of maybe an acquaintance with her. So what I did was I searched for her on Twitter. She has a fairly large account, and I tweeted her what she thought of the iPad mini. So now it's just kind of expanding who you can really connect with. In the same way that I can connect with Joanna, who writes for ABC News, you can also connect with your clients that are interested in the topic that you're selling, and you can focus on certain keywords and also do very targeted ads or write targeted content and share that through social media and find the right kind of clients. And then this just kind of shows how I would actually go and post through Bing, and that would go up on my Facebook page. Shopping through social. Now, this has been integrated a little more into Facebook, and I'm sure it's going to come up more and more. They started doing something called gifts a while back, but they reintegrated it. And now, when you're going to go post on someone's page, if it's their birthday, or even if you just want to write something to them, you have the option of giving them a gift. Now, now it's like right in there, very integrated. Now, if you're not in this exact platform, that doesn't matter, because on Facebook, you can set up a custom tab that has a shopping tab where people can stay within Facebook and shop right there and buy your product. So I was trying to decide when I got my new apartment with my boyfriend how I should decorate. So I went and I looked for presents for Rick, and I found Mario Brothers wall stickers. So then I tried to get feedback from people. Should I decorate my apartment this way? And it got rave reviews. So now I have a little Mario Brothers action going on in my living room. Just kidding. But anyways, but do you see how, now I got almost 20 comments, no, 20 likes and like 6 comments from people, and they were just loving it. And that's just the way that people are making decisions nowadays. Now, it's very easy to do this. One easy tip is be consistent with your names. Now, whether you're going to use your website name or you're going to use a name that's related to the industry that you're targeting, just remain very consistent. Now, this is a little hard to do because every social media network is different. I wish they were all the same, but they're not. And on Twitter, you can only have 15 characters, and on Facebook, you can have it a lot longer. And on Facebook, you have to have a certain amount of likes to name your page, and so on and so forth. But it is fairly easy to do, so try to pick a name that's under 15 characters. Make sure that name is available. Sometimes you have to be a little bit creative. Like, I am doing a website called the School of Internet Marketing. That name was way too long. But we have a tagline that's called Go Great Minds. So I searched for it, and I was lucky enough to see that it was available everywhere. And then we went ahead with that name, and then now we're using it consistently across the board. You also want to promote with the tabs and in the custom images on your website. Like on the left-hand side, that's the background image for Twitter for Affiliate Summit. They have their Twitter name, but they're also promoting their website. And on Facebook, you see how they have the URL, facebook.com/affiliate summit. In the About section, that is where they have their website URL. It is clickable. To make a link clickable there, you just add the HTTP or the www. If you don't do that, your website's not going to be clickable. People are lazy, and people need things like right in front of them, like so easy for them. So you have to make it very simple. Put your link right there where it's clickable, and that's a good way to get easy traffic. Now, in the Facebook cover photo, I see a lot of people putting their websites and their phone numbers. That's against Facebook's guidelines. So if they did see your page, they could shut it down just for having that. That's what the About section is there for. So in the About section, that's where you need to have your website and your phone number. And then if you look at the tabs, we talked about setting up custom tabs. They have their blog right there, but you can also set up, you know, a shop tab and things like that. You want to have a call to action, and you want to actually see what you're doing with your social media. Now, if you invest a little time scheduling your blog post and sharing that all through social media, you should also invest a little time seeing what's actually working for you and what isn't, and focusing in on that. And there's a lot of free tools that you can use. First of all is Hootsuite. I use this as a management tool. It works well for Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+. It's not yet integrated with Pinterest, but I'll talk about Pinterest a little bit more as well. But those are some of the top sites. Now, not every social media site is for your business. You need to pick what works the best for you. The main ones, obviously, the bigger ones to focus on are Facebook, Twitter, Google+, and YouTube. But Pinterest is growing a lot, and so are a lot of other social media platforms. So I would say try to gauge in on what kind of audiences are there, what's the best for your business. Don't stretch yourself too thin, and just focus on a few quality top social media sites and any that are really niche focused on your industry. But once you do that, you can use Google Analytics and you can use Facebook Insights to get good reporting to see that the posts that you're getting, are they actually getting clicks? Having a call to action and having a link. On the left-hand side, I have an example. Again, I'm using Affiliate Summit, but I'm letting people know to sign up for the conference. That link there is from Hootsuite, and it's trackable because on Hootsuite, you can actually integrate Google Analytics. This is all free, like under 5 platforms it's free, and over that I think it's like $10 a month. So it's a pretty easy tool that anyone can afford. But basically what's great about it is it does tie in Google Analytics. So you can start tracking what's going on and knowing what's going on. You don't want to just blindly put out content. You also don't want to put it out once a week or once a month. You want to be very consistent and try to go on a daily basis and actually have links going back to your website. Now, that doesn't mean posting, I'm at Affiliate Summit, and then just posting a link to your website. That means actually posting relevant content and information that people want to hear about. I always say the 3 E's, which is educate, entertain, and engage. And you want to be engaging your audience, but you also want to have fun with social media. It is a fun platform. Videos are a great, easy way. I personally am not a big blogger. Rob said, you know, you could always hire someone. Elance is obviously a great website where you can find anyone to do whatever job you want. But myself personally, since I don't write that much, I speak. So I just turn that into videos. And they're very easy tutorials that I do, and they take 2 minutes to put together, and then I upload them to YouTube, add all the right keywords, the descriptions, and the links back to the website, and then that turns into additional content. It doesn't have to just be the writing, but you also do want to have the content to go with it. So you can do like a good description, and that'll work well. Now, when you're in Google Analytics, you'll see I have a little traffic sources overview. And in this case, I'm looking mostly at referring sites because I'm interested in how much is social media really referring traffic back to my website. In this case, it was, for this website, it was 29%. I was talking to the guys over here, and John gave me another example. He has a website or a combination of websites that have over 140 million unique visitors, and for them, it's about 10%. But you're going to see this continue to increase over time. So whether it's 10% or 25%, it is starting to become a bigger piece of the pie of what kind of traffic is being sent to your website, and it is really turning into social. So I do love shareable buttons. One that I like to use is Share This, but there's a ton of them. If you go in WordPress, there's a bunch of plugins where you can easily integrate these buttons. They're free, and you set it and you forget it, because this is people that are visiting your website that are then sharing with their friends. On Facebook, people usually have an average about 250 friends. So if they find your article and then they share it and so on and so forth, then it gets a lot more readers to your site. So the ones I usually recommend are on the right-hand side. You definitely want Facebook and Twitter. I also like the Facebook like button, and there's the Facebook share button. The difference is when someone just clicks like, it's just with a click of a button, and they don't have to write anything and just post on their wall. Share means they actually want to write something when they are sharing the link. I actually give both options, and you can go and select. Also, the counter is a good thing to have as well, so people can see how many people have been sharing. They can tweet it out, post it on LinkedIn, pin it, and post it on Google+. I do want to touch on Pinterest for a second. Pinterest is growing really quickly. It's driving more traffic than YouTube, Google+, and LinkedIn combined. Now, that being said, I wish I could just tell everyone, go on Pinterest. But it's not for everyone. It's actually for certain industries. It's heavy in women users, and the topics that are being focused on the most on Pinterest are related to home, fashion, arts and crafts, food, and things like that. But interesting things are happening on Pinterest because people can even collaborate on things with each other, and they actually go on Pinterest to decorate their homes, and they do like window shopping. But the great thing about it is it's very simple, and it's focused on an image and a link. So it's very heavy in driving traffic. At the top, I have an example. One thing that people love to do is share photos on social media, photos with images. Some eCards is a website that started doing this, and it became more and more popular. And nowadays, people are sharing quotes, not only on Facebook, but across other platforms, Pinterest being one of them. This is a Dr. Seuss quote. And, but the point is, at the end, there's a hashtag that says inspirational quotes, quote. So you want to make sure you're tagging certain keywords. Not only that, but if you just posted up the quote, but you didn't post, you didn't write the quote under it, people couldn't really find it because it's just in the image. So you need to also add content when you're adding images or you're adding videos. You want the content to go with it. And then that traffic is going back to their blog, which mentions that quote. But anyone that's searching quotes, which are highly searched, will be able to find this. And I did want to mention branded images, and any image that has wording on it usually gets 4 times more comments and shares. And if you make it unique to yourself and you don't go grab someone else's, you can actually maybe put your logo on it or do something that ties back to your brand. And this video, and I've been dabbling, I focus a lot on Facebook and Twitter, and I've been dabbling on YouTube more just because people ask me a lot of questions, so I figure why not just answer it in a video and get more out of it. So I just posted how to add a custom tab to your Facebook page in minutes, and then I put information, and it got like 200 views. I mean, that's not a ton, but I didn't do anything. It was like an effort of like a minute of my time, and it gets more people back to my site. So the main thing I want to say is use social media as a tool. It doesn't take a lot of time. Pick the platforms you want to be on. You can schedule things ahead of time, but make sure you're actually looking at your analytics and your reporting. It's free, it's easy. Facebook Insights, it's integrated into business pages. I do highly recommend using business pages. If you're just doing it on a personal basis, chances are you might not be doing it the best way possible because you can't track anything and there's certain guidelines with Facebook you want to follow. But that's the point at the end of the day. People might not know who you are, but you can find your ideal desired customers through social media and through SEO, and you can have everything shared more often and more people seeing it, and it takes minutes. So thank you. John Carcut's up next.
Thanks, everybody. So I want to say ahead of time, mine is a little bit more technical. So I'm trying very hard not to overwhelm you. They came to me and said, could you please help us, do a portion of this presentation on how to optimize WordPress and what plugins to use. Anybody here, a lot of you put your hands up, said you had blogs. Anybody using anything other than WordPress? So everybody's using WordPress. Good, because that's definitely the best one to start with. And they said it's a beginner session, so I thought, okay, how can I take all this stuff about WordPress and plugins and fit it into a 15-minute presentation? We could literally do 8 hours on WordPress optimization if you want. So I'm going to take top-level stuff to show you. And I thought, okay, beginners, the one thing, if this is the first time you're doing a WordPress blog and you really want to know how to optimize it, the best thing to do is to jump into a plugin by a gentleman named Yoast. It sounds like toast with a Y, pronounce it, but it's called WordPress SEO. And there used to be a plugin that everybody used all the time called All-in-One SEO. It's still pretty good if you're using it, but I would definitely recommend, if you're just starting out, jump into WordPress SEO first. It's got great reviews. There's large sites using it. The Next Web, Search Engine Land, Mashable, all use this plugin. So to find it, no. All right, so those were all supposed to come up when I click through those little red boxes. So basically, the top red box, go into WordPress, go into plugins, and hit Add New. And it's over there in your admin section when you log into WordPress. It's admin, it's down there under plugins. You click Add New, and this is the screen that kind of pops up. Up at the top, it'll ask you for a keyword to search. So we're going to find this plugin. Just search WordPress SEO. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be the top one up there. Just verify that it's by Yoast, and you can do that by looking at his actual name over there on the side. Underneath the description, he spells it different than the plugin, but that's it. And once you hit install, which is right under the name of it, it'll be installed in your WordPress, and you'll see that little box down there on the bottom left. That's the plugin that's been installed. So once you hit the dashboard of this plugin, this is the first page you're going to see. And there's 2 things to really think about on this page for the basics. There's a lot of stuff this plugin does. I'm not going to cover every single piece of it, mainly because we don't have the time, and I just want to get the stuff that's really going to make a difference to you if you're first starting out. So the first thing, security. Unless you have a multi-author blog, if you're the only one writing on it, leave it as it is. If you have a multi-author blog where there's more than one person authoring posts on your blog, then you might want to check this. And what this does, it makes it so only the main blogger can do things like 301 redirect and set canonical tags. Again, it's going to be a little technical. I'll cover that in a minute. But if it's just you, leave it as is. Don't check it. Now this next one, the Webmaster Tools section. If you don't take anything else away from what I'm going to present, listen to this. Google Webmaster Tools and Bing. Sign up for those programs. If you search Google Webmaster Tools, you'll find it. Make sure you do it, sign up, put your code in here so that Webmaster Tools can validate and verify your website. Now, why do I say if you don't do anything else? This is the only way that Google actually communicates directly to you about your website. So if they have a problem crawling your site, or they think there's malware on your site, or many other reasons, they will actually communicate to you, send you emails directly through this tool. It's the only way they'll let you know. So if you don't do anything else, sign up for Google Webmaster Tools, download the plugin, and put in your IDs in there so that you can actually go and get those emails from the Webmaster Tools. Okay? So I can be done now, and I'd be happy. So, but I'll give you some more info. So now, the next section that I'm going to cover after the dashboard, if you look at the bottom left, is titles and meta descriptions. Okay? When you get into this section, you'll notice at the top there's tabs. There's a number of tabs to go through, and there's a lot of stuff to do in this section. So I'm going to go through these one at a time. The first tab you see is the general. Leave everything the same. The 2 things I want you to notice is the site-wide meta settings. The no DDP and I can never pronounce these, no YDR. Those are two meta tags that you can set globally for your site. They basically say that you're not going to use the descriptions for your posts that have been made by either Yahoo or DMOZ. Now these are both, what happens is if you don't have your own description, the engines may take a description on either one of these sites and put it in for you. You don't have control over those descriptions. So most of the time you want to create your own descriptions to make sure your post is the most optimized. So if you click those two check marks, the search engines will not use the Yahoo or the DMOZ descriptions for you. They'll use yours. Next tab is Home. This is for your home page. Again, this is, Stephanie talked about it a little bit, where you see the pictures of people next to posts. She had a picture of Misty in one of hers. A lot of this is because of something called author rank. And this is how you do author metadata. And it's really simple at this point. We can talk for a whole session on that as well. But when you're on this tab, just go ahead and set it for you as the author if it's a single author blog. If you have a multi-author blog, it gets much more complicated. Anybody doing multi-author blogs? We got 1, 2, 3. All right, so for you guys, it's a little more complicated to set up and do the authorship on your WordPress. But for everybody else who's got a single author, just set it to your primary author. That's all you got to do on that page. Then we have post types. Now you'd have to scroll down a little bit to get to these, but there's two post types in here that you basically, unless you're doing a very specific image-oriented, media-oriented blog like Mike does down here, it's easier for the engines to get through your site and get through all the content that you want posted. If you have both of these types, media and portfolio, unless you're specifically using those or targeting those, you just no index them. So basically tell the engines, I don't want you to index these pages. It reduces the possibility of duplicate content, and it helps the engines find your real content. Next is taxonomies. Same thing here pretty much. There's two different types here, the formats and the portfolio groups. Unless you really specifically need these indexed, and if you're a beginner and you're just starting, you probably don't. Go ahead and no index those. Put that little check mark in there and no index those as well. All right? And then on other, there's really these two pieces, the meta robots, you can disable that for the author archives and the date archives. Both those sections, author archives and date archives, WordPress will automatically generate bunches of pages based on the date and bunches of pages based on the author. If you're a single author blog, you don't need these author archives because you've already got these posts somewhere else, and this is more of a duplicate content issue for both of these. Date archives and author archives can cause duplicate content issues on your site. So it's simplest, just starting out, very beginning basics, disable those. You don't need them. You might want to, once you get more advanced, you may get to a point where you want to enable them, but just starting out, it's easiest just to ignore them. Now, the second section, again, we go to that bottom left. We're looking at the XML sitemaps section of this plugin. And what this does, it creates a, is anybody familiar with XML sitemap, what it is? Again, we're getting kind of technical. So basically, an XML sitemap is a file at the root of your website, at the root of your domain, called sitemap.xml. And this is basically a list of all the pages on your website. And the search engines will go find this file. Instead of crawling all the way through your site, they'll just get a list of your pages. And that way, if there's deep pages that might not be crawled regularly, they'll get it through this file. This is really handy for large sites, if you have lots of content, lots of pages. But it's really good for WordPress because it's simple and it's easy to manage it through the WordPress SEO tool, just to turn it on. Because a year from now, you should have, hopefully, a large website. And this will have cataloged all those pages and put them in the XML file. So at the top, what you want to do is just check that box to turn it on. All right. Second one down is the general settings. This XML file will automatically ping Google and Bing. They'll automatically let them know whenever there's new posts. So what this does, the WordPress SEO will also ping Yahoo and Ask. There's no reason not to ping them, not to tell Yahoo and Ask that you've got a new post. So you might as well check both those boxes as well, unless you just don't want to be found on Ask for some reason. Ask is evil, so I don't want my posts on Ask. So you uncheck that. But it's not. Check it. And then exclude post types is very similar to what we talked about a second ago in both these categories, that you don't want these file types unless you have a specific media-oriented blog where you're trying to get your photographs ranked or your media ranked. Go ahead and check those. You don't want those file types in your XML file. Something to note, the very bottom one, XML files, if you get to this level, they will only hold 50,000 URLs a piece. You can have multiple XML files. Unfortunately, WordPress SEO doesn't support that directly. You can do it yourself. But if you get to the point where you have 50,000 pages on your blog, hopefully you're not a beginner anymore and you have other ways to handle that. There's other plugins out there. So permalink structure is the next section down in that list of sections for the WordPress SEO tool. Permalinks are the actual links that are being created by your site that people will link to. So it's the search-friendly links that are being created by WordPress. If you don't use permalinks, it has, you know, the WordPress or your site.com/post ID equals and some number. Permalinks are actually the user-friendly, search-friendly links. And WordPress SEO plugin actually manages some of the issues with that come up. So the first one is, a lot of times they'll put the post under the category. You can actually have the category stripped out, which is I like to do. It's easier way to get a better URL for your individual posts. So it strips out the category. And I can't even read this because the red blocks are of it now. Category URLs, post HTML. Oh yes, this is a good one. This is the trailing slash. Okay, so the trailing slash, if you have a URL on your site and you have a category, say we have affiliatesummit.com/SEO, and it's all the posts about SEO on Affiliate Summit's site. If you don't have a trailing slash, sometimes, and some people link to it with a trailing slash, that can actually cause a very minute duplicate content issue. So you want all your URLs to be the same, and what happens is this will actually add that trailing slash to all of your posts that don't end in something like .html or .php. And it's a good thing to have. It helps. It's just one of those small things that helps your site be just a bit more optimized. Another thing, if you have attachments to a post, let's say you make a post and you do attachments, you really don't want people just to go straight to the attachment if you can help it. So what this does, if you check this mark, it'll redirect from the attachment URL to the post URL. So they get the actual full content that you want them to see before they get to the attachment. So this keeps those attachments that may be a print version or PDF version of something in your post. That could be a duplicate content issue. But it also allows people to get directly to your content instead of the attachment files. And the last thing at the bottom, canonical settings. Does anybody know what canonical is for a website?
No.
No. So what happens, the canonical settings, again, sorry if this is too technical, but if you have, the easiest way to explain it is www versus the non-www version of a website. If you put in mydomain.com and you put in www.mydomain.com, the engine sees that as two different URLs because they're not the same. One has www and one does not. There's something called canonicalization that happens where you can go in and you can tell the engines that I really want my www version to be the one you index. That's the one that's most important to me. So you can go in and automatically, not automatically, there's tools that allow you to 301 redirect or redirect that non-www version to the www version. And if you have the different versions both indexed, it's definitely a problem for two reasons. One, it's a duplicate content issue, but the biggest problem is with the links that Rob was talking about, because people usually don't link to, well, people link different ways. They might link using www, they might not. So if you have both versions of your site out there, and both versions are getting links because some people use www and some people don't, you have split your link equity. You want to consolidate all that link equity to make your site overall stronger. So that's what canonical settings and canonicalization really is. This part here, unless you have a very specific reason, this one's dealing with canonical issues with HTTP and HTTPS, which is the secure version of pages. If you have a secure page, it's HTTPS. If it's a non-secure page, which most pages on the internet are, it's just HTTP. There are problems with sites that have both versions, secure and non-versions, their entire site indexed this way. This setting helps fix that. Unless you have very specific issues with this, just leave this alone, all right? This is more advanced, but I just wanted you to make sure you understood what it was. Now, real quick, everything we just talked about is set it and forget it. When you first install this plugin, that's the way to go. You set those things and you don't worry about them unless you have major changes to your site. Now I want to talk about some recurring stuff you can do with this plugin, and I'm going to do it quickly because I'm running out of time. recurring tasks. So when you go into a post or a page and you scroll down below the part in WordPress where you do all your editing, you put your post in, and they have different blocks. There's a new box under there that looks like this. It's WordPress SEO by Yoast, and this is basically what you see. You'll see 3 tabs across the top. You'll see a snippet preview. This is a preview of what your post snippet will look like in Google. And most importantly on this first page is a focus keyword. And what you do is you go in and you say, this post is on this topic. And you put in the keyword target for the page. And it's great because when you start typing in your keyword here, it'll actually do what's similar to Google Suggest. Anybody know what Google Suggest is? Everybody does. All you with your hands down, you know what it is. I guarantee it. So when you start typing something in Google and it drops down a list and says, do you mean this? And it gives you a list of options. That's Google Suggest. Everybody's seen it. That's what it does. This tool does exactly the same thing. It'll drop down, give you a list of suggested keyword targets. And this list is actually from Google Suggest, and it's actually terms that people are searching for. So this is actually not just pulled out of thin air. This is from Google. These are actually terms related to your keyword that people have been searching for to give you an idea of what to target. So this is a great place to pick your target for your term. Once you do pick it, in the general section, you'll see that you have an SEO title and an SEO meta description. You fill those out, make sure you use that term that you selected, and right above there, now underneath your keyword focus is a list of the different places on the page that your term should appear. So you've got the focus keyword, you've got article headings, page titles, URLs, content, and meta description. That is giving you an idea to make sure that you're optimizing that page for your target term. This one says no on content because I just didn't write an article. This was just to show you the tool. So if I would have wrote an article, I would have used the term, and that would be a yes, and it would show me how many times I used that term in that content of the page. The next tab is the page analysis. This is a tool that uses link decks. This basically goes through that individual page and gives you red, green, yellow buttons to say, yes, you're optimized here, here, here. No, you need help here. This is good for a tool we'll show you in just a minute, but you should do this. Look it over to make sure you've got as many greens and yellows as you can to get rid of the reds when you're doing your posts. And then there's the advanced tab. And again, this one is do these on every single post you write, keyword targeting. You look at this, meta robots index, you want to leave that alone, that'll be default. Follow or no follow, for some reason you don't want a page followed, you can do that here at an individual page level. The meta robots advanced, this has the stuff we talked about at the beginning with the Yahoo and what is it? Yahoo and the ODP, the ODP, which is, oh man, what is it, Mike? Open Directory Project. There we go. DMOS. That's what I was trying to find. Yes. So we used it in the very beginning when we set up we said it once, and we said don't use those. If you didn't do that, you can do it on individual posts here. And then the bottom two, the canonical URL. If for some reason you have a page that's a duplicate of another page in your site or part of a series of posts, I'm writing a series of posts right now about integrating social media into existing advertising campaigns. It's a 3-part series. The second and third posts in that, I'm going to put the canonical URL to the first post. So if someone goes, if the search engines go to find the third post, they're going to say, no, 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 this is not supposed to be indexed, the first post is. So all the weight from that second and third post, from links, from anything, is going to go to the first one, and then the first one will stay indexed, so when people find this, they'll start at the beginning. And then 301 redirects, you can do those on an individual level at WordPress SEO as well. So if you have a page that changes or a URL that changes for a page, you can actually do those redirects here. Again, I'm sorry, apologizing, it's a little technical. If I had more time, I'd get real detailed about what those are. The last thing I want to show you is when you do in the front of WordPress and you go and look at all your posts or all your pages, there's a little thing over here if you look at the upper right side that shows screen options. And you can actually show what's in that list. When you see that whole list of posts or whole list of pages, when you install WordPress SEO, it adds 4 more. It adds your SEO, SEO title, meta description, and focus keyword. So you can see a big picture of your site of all the things from an SEO perspective of all your posts or all your pages. Now, this one, I really wish I had these things I could push through. So you'll see the meta description, but also at the top, there's also a little thing you can index by. And this is where that one page where you're doing the SEO audit, it shows you the red and green and yellow dots about your optimization, you can actually sort your whole list of posts and your whole list of pages by how optimized they are using this tool. It's a great tool, and I've tried to get through this as quick as I could. Believe me, there's tons more that this program or plugin can do. So thank you, and hope we have some questions. Now, if you're going to do questions, please, we're doing the questions and answers. Step up to the mic here in the middle so we can hear you. The lights are blinding us. We might not be able to see hands that are raised, so please come up to the mic if you have some questions, and we'll get to them between us all. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If you want more free tips about social media, if you give me your card and you write social media or Facebook or Affiliate Summit on the back of it, I will send you a code for a book that has tips for Facebook called Facebook for Non-Techies. Any questions?
And just one little point to add to John's presentation is, you know, it may sound like it's a lot to do, but you know, I put out 6 to 10 posts a day, and I do what he just described on every single one of them. And it's a big part of why some of the things that I'm doing have been successful. So if there's any takeaway from this, get that tool and use it and learn how to use it. It's really not that hard. And then there's one other thing I just want to out Stephanie. She mentioned she got something from her boyfriend, from Facebook Shop. But hold the hand up, Stephanie. It's not a boyfriend. He
I forget. It's recent.
Yes, fiance
sorry,
now.
Fiance.
So
yes.
I just had to put that out there. So we'll entertain some
Thanks
questions
for
now.
outing me, Rob.
Yes. There's got to be questions. We're not that
Oh,
good.
someone's coming up. Oh.
Oh, there we go.
I have a Facebook question. You know how all my friends repost all the time? They take a picture and put a cute little saying on it, and they repost. What benefit is it for the person who originally made that? Is it for backlinks to their page? Is it the hopes that people are going to click through and visit their website?
Yeah, ideally what you want to do is, creating something unique, even if it's a quote that's already been reused and sent around. If you make something yourself and you add your logo on it, or even a hashtag that can be chatted about on Twitter so that people share it more often, what you really want to do is, not only when you post that picture, having the picture, you also want to have a description that has a link back to your website. And you can even tag something going back to your Facebook. But what happens is, when that's being shared, the link back to your website would actually send traffic to your website. Now, I talk about a lot, don't just put affiliatesummit.com at the end of it. Actually send them somewhere relevant that has to do with that quote or that post, whether it's a specific landing page on your website or it's a blog post that's referencing that image or that quote. You don't just want the straight up picture and the website. It has to be somewhat of a tie-in. But also at the top, when it's being shared by people and they click on the share button, you'll actually see, I always do this on my Facebook, I always post on my business and then I share it on my personal, and then other people will share it, and it'll say Stephanie shared Micromedia Marketing's photo, and that's a clickable link where they can go back to your Facebook page. So you'll either be sending people back to your Facebook page or back to your website, but you do have to add that link in the description part besides just the image. If it's just the image, it's not going to do a lot. You can have your URL in the image as well at the bottom.
Now, are those good links, or are those going to be penalized backlinks? Do you think that's a good link building system?
Whatever brings eyeballs is
yeah,
good.
it's. Okay. I use social media to drive traffic completely, and I do it 100% through social media, and it's been a big traffic driver, and it's a good link, but I mean, the guys that do SEO can tell
I
you.
have a pretty recent example of someone who did that very successfully with the end of the world that recently occurred or didn't occur.
Oh.
There was a really funny picture of the calendar. It was a weather calendar, rain, sun, and then just nothing. And it was a commonly shared image, but this friend of mine took that and he added his business logo to the bottom of that image, and he ended up getting like 12,000 shares of that image, all of which brought some juice back to his Facebook page and eventually to his site. So it does, something that gets shared 10 times might not bring you as much traffic, but if you can kind of catch
Yeah,
one
if
of
you
those
could
little
hit
things,
something
you
that
know,
goes
that
viral.
everybody likes. You know, that's big too.
Yeah, I had someone do that as well, but what helped them to get even more people was actually tagging. If you want to tag something in the content, you just put the @ and you write out the person's name or the company name and it'll tag it. So he actually does that a ton where it's all those branded images, but every time he actually puts the @ link back to his page, in addition to having it at the top and everything, he's gotten a lot of likes and a lot of traffic through doing that, especially with ones, obviously when it goes viral, it's even better.
Yeah. And that's a great question to talk about the difference between profiles and pages. If you're running your Facebook on a profile, most likely the security settings are going to prevent that link from actually passing any kind of link juice back to your website. If it's on a page, it's more public and it can be crawled, and you're going to have a much better chance of getting some link juice from your page. You're not going to have much chance at all from a profile unless you open it up to everybody, you know, and don't have any security settings on it at all.
Two quick things. On Facebook and on Twitter, you should go to your settings and check off the HTTPS so it is secure, so people can't really hack into your account. Also, don't just put like your name and your password. You know, try to have a combination of numbers so that other people can't hack into it, because it does look like it's you or your business, whoever it is that you have managing your social media. It's very important.
Okay, we have some more questions.
Okay, sorry. And one more thing is promote your posts. You can do it for as little as $5, and you'll get a lot more views and comments out of it, and it's very easy. You can do it with a click of a button. Next question?
Yeah, this question's for Stephanie. Can you define what X number of people talking about this is on Facebook? You see that?
I don't, well, you mean when I say an X number of people talking about it? Oh, what it means when it says that. Okay.
Yeah, because like on, we started a Facebook post and we've got like 1,000 people talking about it. Nobody really knows what it means where we're at. So
right. Okay, so here's what happens.
I don't even think Facebook knows what it means.
Yeah. Well, you know, I will say, and I'll openly say, sometimes even when I look at Facebook and Google Analytics, like all their descriptions for what's going on and how they track it, I think it's a little off sometimes. But basically, I'll give you an example with a promoted post. Like, say you spend $5, it'll specifically tell you how many people it's going to reach, and basically those are the people that have actually seen it. When someone's talking about it, that means that they've shared it with their friends, but if one person shares it and they have like 250 friends, they can factor that into it. So that doesn't mean that person and all their friends are actually talking about it. That means that person shared it with their friends, and maybe some of their friends commented on it and liked it. But it's not necessarily exactly 1,000 people that are all sharing it. It's more like them and their friends are discussing it and maybe having a conversation about it on a post that they shared from your original post.
Thank you.
But actually, if I'll try to send you or tweet out a link that explains like all the different meanings for all those Facebook terms.
Next question.
So you mentioned canonical links, and as I understand them, they're like the main source for a page. And you also mentioned that you could have like multiple pages with the same canonical tag. Is that true?
Yes. So
why would you do that?
There's a number of reasons you want to do that. The one example I had was like a multi-page or multi-part series of posts. You might want to make sure that everybody starts at the beginning, all the weight for those posts. If there's 3 posts in that, and they all getting links from different places, you don't want to diversify or dilute that link juice. So you can use canonical tags to make sure all that link juice, all of the people that are coming to the post are starting at the beginning, and the link juice goes to the first page of the post. That would be one of the primary uses, to use that on a per post basis. There are plenty of reasons to use canonical issues to prevent duplication of pages. The HTTP versus HTTPS, www versus non-www. People will use them. Let's say you have an affiliate code or a tag on a URL, and people are sending links to your page with affiliate tags on them, on the URLs. If you put a canonical tag on that landing page, all those URLs are stripped, and it's not seen as 1,500 different URLs. It's seen as one, because you have that canonical tag on it.
And that's time.
It's time, but we got one more question. Let's do the one more question.
No, he's saying pull the plug. So.
Okay.
Oh, take it?
It'll be quick, I promise.
Okay.
I did download WordPress SEO about a month ago, and I've been using it, and it's awesome. I feel like I'm writing more efficiently, to say the least. I have 85 posts prior to the benefit of WordPress SEO. My question is it worth it for me to go back and optimize those? And if I do I click the button to send it to the feed or not?
It's worth it to do it if you have the time.
Okay, but should I send it to the feed?
I wouldn't make it, don't think that it's going to kill your site if you don't, but it's certainly something that's worth spending your time on. And as far as the technical aspects of it, I'll yield to John on that. But I have done that for sites. It's, when I started using it, I started using it going forward from that point, and then took the time to go back to do it. But I don't think that it needs to be an all-consuming project. And John, you can give a technical
real quick,
answer.
not even a technical answer. If you think about it this way, there are 4.7 billion searches done on Google every single day. Think about 4.7 billion searches every day, and every one of those searches is a question. People are asking a question. Your pages are the answers to those questions. So the more pages that you have optimized in the index, the more answers you have available to answer one of those 4.7 billion questions. So yes, the better optimized all your pages are, the better you're going to do.
Okay, but send it to the feed or not? That's what I'm worried about.
Send
Duplicate.
it to the feed is what you want.
Oh, sending it to the feed.
Yes.
The older ones, I'm not. Yeah, if they're not indexed right now, definitely. If they're already indexed, there's no need to go back and add them.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.